So the more you're involved in the business or it relies on your skill set or expertise, the less valuable the business becomes. And typically, the less of a multiple that you're going to sell that business for. Last but not least is it's the ability to sell the business. And to more so to elaborate on that, it's the ability to build a business that can be sold for the most amount of money. How do you how do you maximize and understand what the potential is to exit the business later on? So you want to start with the end in mind, right? Like what is your ultimate goal? Some people come in going, "Hey, I want to start up a business. I want to buy a franchise. I want to start a business. I want to build it up and then eventually I want to pass it down to my kids. And I want them to take over the business." Okay, cool. Awesome. That leads to a different strategy and potentially a path. Now, if you go, "Hey, I want to start a business," right? I want to start a business and I want to build it up over a period of 5 years. I want to go really hard over that 5-year period and then I want to sell that business and I want to try to sell it for as much as humanly possible, right? It leads to 2 different types of strategies. And some businesses don't have the ability to exit the way others do. So the more you're involved in the business or it relies on your skill set or expertise, the less valuable the business becomes, and typically the less of a multiple that you're going to sell that business for. The more you have management structures and people reporting to you and an operations manager and a sales manager and tax or whatever it is, the more valuable that business becomes. So as an example, if you're doing $100,000 in profits, if the business is super dependent upon you as the owner and your skill sets and your talents, you may only be able to sell that business for 2 times its earnings. So 2 times 100 grand, 200 grand, right? But if you have a management team in place or just a manager in place and you're not working in the business, you're working on the business, you might be able to sell that same business for 4 times, for 4x earnings, right? And so it's a really key thing to think about, which is why, it's one of the things that we put in our franchise buyers academy. So, like, as an example, share screen. This is behind the scenes in Franchise Buyers Academy. And so one of the things it's at the very end, but it's, hey, like we have a whole module on cashing out and selling your business and what that looks like. And we walk you through how to scale and how to scale through acquisitions too. The guy that I met with, the franchisee, the brand that he has 11 franchises in, he built the first one from scratch. He acquired existing locations of all the other ones. So you may be thinking, like, how do I build a franchise empire? How could I his 11 locations do about $25 million in sales. Crazy. I mean, he's just absolutely crushing it. But these are the things that you need to know before you start. Like before you start looking at franchises, you want to know what some of these opportunities are, how to think about it, how to approach it with the end in mind, and have the proper industry insight and knowledge about what some of these franchises are and how much they make and what exists, so that you can then might make the right decision from the beginning. And so, you know, pretty we run through like some pretty exciting scenarios here of literally mapping out the numbers of how it all works and what the kind of potentiality look like. So again, that's in our Franchise Buyers Academy. You can go to franchiseempire.com/FBA. I'd highly recommend grabbing it because if you enjoy some of this content, the stuff in the Franchise Buyers Academy is way more technical, way more clear, shorter, concise, because it took me months and months to create, and it's 10 years of my knowledge. But the ability to sell the business is super important. I just spoke to someone today. She was in a home services franchise for 7 years with her husband, And they built that business up. They worked really hard in that business. And the whole time they knew that there was a larger owner in the space that owned a bunch of different locations that wanted to buy them out because he told them early on. And so, guess what? When it came time for them to be like, you know what? I think we're ready to rock and roll. I think we're done with this business. They called him up. It was a quick and easy sale. And the buyer didn't have to get approved by the franchisors, already in the system, already knows the thing. She said it was such an easy sale. So that's one of the interesting things about franchises is that sometimes people will buy it just because it's a franchise. And if you go into a brand knowing that there's activity and that there are people that own 4, 5, 6 locations or territories or 7 or 8, you know that hey, there's the opportunity to be acquired, or there's the opportunity for you to acquire other people. If you enjoyed this short clip from the podcast, you can check out another short clip right here. Or if you want to watch the full episode of this podcast, you can watch that here. And remember, knowledge is not power. It's applied knowledge that's power. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.